Now, welcome good people. If it's your first time here, kindly subscribe to this channel. So today we are going to look at Professor PLO Lumumba, a Kenyan scholar, a Pan-Africanist. Now, in this video, he is insisting on the fact that Africans should unite, number one. And number two, he's insisting on the fact that we as Africans should elect leaders who are going to catapult this continent to another orbit level as far as human development is concerned, as far as economy is concerned, because at the end of the day, most of African countries, they are suffering. Most of African countries, African people, they are electing poor leaders. Now, let's have a look at this video. Let's listen to Professor PLO Lumumba, then we can come back and analyze the video further. So thank you for joining. If it's your first time, show me some love, like this video. Let's look at this video, then you can come back and analyze the video further.
You know, many times when I read the Christian Bible, and I read it often, I read certain verses, and I read them keenly. There is one that African politicians love, that all leadership comes from God. Nonsense. Nonsense on stilts. Some leaders are punishment from God. You have sinned so much by making the wrong decision that God sent as a punishment. And those of you who are Christians, I also want you, whenever you are reading that, because during this period, they are going to come with the tithes and offerings and look as holy as the angel Raphael, Michael, and Gabriel combined. Tell them there is also another verse in the book of the prophet Hosea, at chapter 8, verses 4. You can fact check me. Says, you have raised among yourselves leaders and kings whom I have not appointed. Let us change. You young people can change it. You can only change it if you take a solemn vow. You must be sacrificial about it. You must ask yourself, why do you elect people into office? Are they going to fight corruption? Or they are going to engage in primitive accumulation of things? You know, many people in Kenya say there is Roho Mtakatifu. No, the Roho in Kenya is Roho Mtakakitu. In fact, it's the Roho Mtakavitu. That is the spirit that is alive in Kenya, even in churches. Even in churches. And don't tell me that in churches it's not there. Go and read the book of Matthew, at chapter 24, verses 24. There shall come many Christs, and they shall work wonders. And if it were possible, they shall confuse even the very elect, if the days were not shortened. I'm submitting to you that these are those days. There are many Christs roaming around the world, calling themselves apostles, prophets, and many other things. Yet you and me know that in the Jewish tradition, the last prophet was Malachi. In the Christian tradition, the last prophet was John the Baptist. There are no more prophets, only disciples. So all these quacks you hear calling themselves prophets say, "You'll not be cheated, I'm a Christian of Berea." Who asks? So those of you who are Christians here, if you want to give it a spiritual dimension, in order to change the crisis of governance in the global south, read the Bible a lot more keenly. Those of you, and I'm sure there are Muslims here. Do we have Muslims in the assembly? Ramadan Kareem.
Something funny, Professor Lumumba also tried to vie for a member of parliament position way back, if history can judge me. And I can recall that through the vicissitude of time, that during his campaign period, uh, people were telling Professor Lumumba that, look, we know you're a professor, we know you're a Pan-Africanist, we know you want to be an MP, but we don't want anything to do with your agendas. For us, we want money. And that is where the problem is. Now, even though Professor Lumumba was never elected into office because he never gathered adequate votes, he is eloquently speaking about this concept of Africans, more so the electorate, not being vigilant enough to elect leaders who can take the continent from one level to another level in terms of economy. If you look at Africa, Africa is the youngest continent in the world. Youngest continent in the world, meaning we have the human capability. The labor force in Africa is very high. But look, none of Africans, either youth, even old Africans, they don't want to be in the continent because they are not seeing opportunities within the continent. Sometimes we are blaming leaders, but I think we as Africans are the ones to be blamed because we are the ones who elect them into office. You cannot be elected basing on your agendas or ideas. You must be a millionaire to be elected into office in Africa, and that is what is killing this continent. That is what is killing our potential in an international arena. So we as Africans should embrace the fact that we need this continent to be in another level. And this one has been demonstrated. Look at Traore, for example. Look at what this gentleman is doing in Burkina Faso. Even though he was not elected democratically, he's trying to push Burkina Faso to another level in matters development. Look, from 2022 to 2026, since he assumed power, you can really tell that Burkina Faso is on another level and it's raising a lot. Actually, I normally say that the African Union should go to Burkina Faso and the Sahel state and benchmark what they are doing right. Because for them, they are always doing it right. And he was not democratically elected. He assumed power due to coup. So Africans must unite, more so the younger generation, and elect leaders into office, these leaders that will take us to another level. We have to unite and speak one voice. And it's my prayer that one of these fine days, it can be even in 100 years from now, that Africa will be one as a continent, that we have to speak as one with same. Have you ever imagined Africa being one continent, rather being one country? Imagine us having one army, one currency. That is so amazing, and we actually, even the world would fear us. So for us to reach that level, number one, we have to make sure that our countries are developed. Because no one wants to associate with a poor country. Even the reason why most Africans, they are denied visa to go to the Western countries is because our countries are poor. Because our countries are poor. If we develop our countries, believe you me, if you go to an embassy and you want to go to the Western countries, they'll not deny your visa because they know your country is fully developed. So they cannot deny your visa. Now, what should we do, we as a continent? Number one, we have to speak about it the way I'm trying to speak about it. That the continent has to be immunized from these corrupt leaders looting public properties on an industrial scale. 70% of African presidents, they are thieves looting on an industrial scale. That's why we are not realizing our potential. They are looting from Africa. All of their wealth, they are being saved in the Western countries. And the Western countries cannot deny them. Because you know why? Because in one way or another, if they loot from African countries and go and save in the Western countries, they are benefiting in one way or another. Yeah, their monies are being used there to develop their economies. If it's gold, gold is kept there, sold, making profit. So they want us, we as Africans, to be confused. If you try to do something good, you will be eliminated. Or if not eliminated, you will have lots and lots and lots of sanctions, because they want us to continue punching below our weight. They want us to continue suffering so that they can sustain their economies. You see what Traore is doing? Traore is now shifting into Russia, even though the other day Traore just signed a health deal with the United States. Traore is majorly shifting into the Asian countries for help, because at least, but I guess the reason why Traore is shifting into the Asian countries simply because they don't have colonies in Africa. Yeah, the Asian countries don't have colonies in Africa. That's why Traore is shifting into the Asian countries. So thank you guys. So if it's your first time here, show me some love, man. Africa will be great. Africa must be great. Also share this video to Africans of goodwill, both in Africa and both in the diaspora, so that we can speak the same language. Thank you for showing up. If it's your first time here, punch that like button. See you next time. Bye bye.